Hi everyone, welcome to the final installment of Big Band Chord Soloing. We're going to use the tune Splanky, specifically the shout chorus of the song, to talk about utilizing more of these diminished voicings, these different shell voicings, and how we can kind of make it in a coherent whole using a directly applicable shout chorus that's really famous. So if you haven't heard this tune, go check it out. It's one by Count Basie off of the record Atomic Basie. There's a really great verse part, and then it comes into the shout chorus a couple times throughout it. And this is something, and kind of learning the shout chorus and learning the grips that go along with it, you can really see how Barney Kessel and Garland were extremely influenced by this chorus, and how a lot of these different licks that are known with them kind of derive, I think, from this, as well as other swing era shout choruses. So what we'll do is we'll break down what I just played and kind of relate it to the past lessons, and then we'll do another chorus where we put in some of the past lesson ideas within this framework of Splanky. So before we get started, if you want to follow along the PDF, that is in the description below. There's a link to purchase the PDFs. It covers all of the lessons in this series that I've done, and I'll drop the links to all of the lessons as well in the description below, and you can get that. You've got all the chords, the correct fingerings, the examples I cover right along with the video. So check that out if you want to read along and work at your own pace. So Splanky is a B flat, in this case it's a B flat blues, the way I transposed it. And we're going to be coming off of basically just the diminished chord for most of it. That's going to be our kind of home base. So when we talked about in the previous lesson, taking the blues licks and ideas, whether they be kind of more major sounding or minor sounding, and just harmonizing them with diminished voicings. So, and the more minor, right, and just moving out. And then we've got a couple the lessons that cover that, so go back if you haven't checked that out. That's our basis. So we're playing a B flat diminished harmony, and then approaching a B flat 9 shell voicing. So you have this, then back down, and then we're going to play a blues lick, just with our diminished voicings there. So E flat down to D flat. So we have over the B flat chord, then over the 4 chord, and that's the E flat. And then when we come back to the 1, we have, and that's just going to be a cool chromatic movement over the B flat chord, which is one of those tools we utilized in the past videos. Back to our B flat here with the harmony, and then we're just going to play another blues lick and land on the D natural. So all diminished harmony there. And if you want to be more specific at the end, if you don't really like that B, you can play a B flat 7 like so. Either one. It's quick though. And then we're going to come to the 4 chord and play a nice little chromatic lick again of just an approach. We have an E flat 9 with a 13, so that's F, C, G, D flat. All right, there's our E flat chord here. And we're just going to chromatically approach it. Okay. And then a cool little blues lick. So, right back to home plate. So far we've got back to B flat, okay? And then here we're to come up with the 6th chord, and there's our G9. And what he did there is a chromatic approach from above, A flat down to G. You can also analyze that and kind of use that as in that progression when you have 2 bars of 4, and then a 1, and then a 6. You can plug in an A flat, or excuse me, a flat 7 in between that 1 to the 6 to connect it. So B flat, A flat, G. That's a really common movement you hear, and that's exactly what's going on there. Okay, so we have E flat, and then we come to the end with a 2 minor 5 back to the 1. So we have a C minor lick that's going to go. Okay, so we have a C minor triad, really simple. I'm going to strum to the G note and then add in the flat 7, our B flat, and then with pinky grab the 9 at the top, and then we're going to move up to this C minor chord here. It's C, G, B flat, E flat, but we're going to go straight to the C minor 11. So we're going to add the F and then come down to the E flat. So we have this 1. And then, so we have it's an E flat triad. Shape-wise, I think if it's still C minor, you have B flat at the top, and then C at the top. And you can think of all this within that like C minor F7 range, right? Because we have the C minor 11 here. There's a C minor 9. Also, we have an F with an A in the bass. So that's an F7 9 with the G. There's our F chord right there. So it's not too far off. Okay, and then right back to B flat, or if you're turning it around, you can go up in the record, it goes to a G7, C7, so that's 6 to 2 7s, and then C minor, F7, back to B flat. So you have a variation if you want to end it, and be like 1. End it like that, or you could go back into it. So 1. Into it again. So that is the basis for it. So following along the PDF, if you just want to mess around with that, pause that and you can see just the outline of that. And I didn't notate the rhythm of it exactly, so you have freedom to just kind of move around and do different things. But now we can add in some of the other ideas. So the first one that I think is best is just add more chromatic movement, just half step movement. So if we did that and just trying to drop it in where we could, we might. Right, so that's just one. That's a lot of kind of over the top of the chromatic movement, but that's how you could fit that stuff in. The next thing you can do is start adding just more of the diminished blues licks, right? So you can work in, especially because we're in this area, more stuff in this area, right? Okay. So we'll do a chorus like that. One more time. So that's just putting in a lot of just the diminished harmony. The next one we can do is throwing in another diminished trick, but moving in groups of 3. And we'll specifically target this on the 4. We can do a 4, sharp 4, back to 1. And we'll target it on the 6. So moving that up as well. So throwing in that diminished harmony to use as kind of a transfer point between chords. So a 1, 2, 3. So that's just throwing it in to get between chord to chord. And then, you know, just mix it all up and see what comes out. That's the best idea, to just take those little groups, and then once you're kind of comfortable, familiar with them, start putting them all together. So I'll do that, and I'll add in some 13ths as well from what we were talking about in the previous lesson. So you have all right, so mess around with a couple of those ideas, and then one last lick to send you off. I'll give you that ending there. That's just taking a B flat 7/9 chord and moving it down two groups at a time. So it just, and then when you get to the next B flat chord on the fretboard, you just work that down another group of 2, but you got to change chord grips to this type of B flat 13 here. Okay, so that's, so start on the 5, that's the F, and then you're in a home key there. All right, so mess around with some of those ideas. I'll give you one last course to send you off, and then check out, I'll have a follow-up video talking about this guitar. I've had a couple questions about it, as well as some Barney Kessel licks in the chordal style that kind of give you more send-offs to work with. Once again, thank y'all, and see the description below for the links to the other lessons, as well as the PDFs. See y'all next time. Thank you.